Ooh, what is an increment in Scrum and how do we know it's successful? Well, the increment is the thing you're building. Technically, a product increment is created every time you complete, you get to done a product backlog item, a new increment is born. It is the sum of all the work you've just done and all previous work brought up to that definition of done. So you can have that long boring answer, or you can just think of it as the product you're building. So it's not the stuff you're currently working on that's not quite finished yet, but it's everything else that you think is done. That's your product, because that's the thing you could give to your customer. Now, how do we know whether we're building the right thing? That's what it comes down to. Are we building a valuable product? Well, value is an interesting one. We have a product owner. In all likelihood, they're a representative for that customer, not the customer themselves. If they're the customer themselves, it's really easy. We ask them, they're the customer. But if they're not, okay, what we have to remember is value is something that is taken, not given. Okay. Now, let me try and help you get your head around that if you've not come across that concept before. Okay. Value is in the eye of the beholder. I will look at something and determine whether or not it's valuable to me. You can't tell me whether it's valuable. You could put in front of me the most beautiful gold and diamond tiara on the planet. I haven't got enough hair to use a tiara, so it's of no use. And obviously, I wouldn't sell it for scrap. But this is the thing. If you hand a thirsty man a glass of water, that's incredibly valuable. If you give him 100, that first one's valuable, the second one less so. That 100th one, he's probably sick of the sight of glasses of water. Right? That is of no value whatsoever. So we have to remember that when we're thinking about whether or not we're building the right product increment, whether it's the thing that they want, the only true way to know is to talk to the customer. Check in with them. Is it solving this problem? And is it solving it in the best way? Are we solving the right problem? Has your needs shifted? Have your needs shifted as we've been building it? And if so, how can we get in front of that? So value is very much from your customer's perspective. You're building a thing, you have a hypothesis. You believe this will be this valuable. Against all the other things you could build, this is the most valuable thing that we can build in the time frame we have. What do you think? In my experience, the great teams measure that. They use a value measure as they go through their sprints or whatever form they're using. Okay, but they understand that's a hypothesis. They create ways of checking whether or not their customers are truly getting value out. Because even the customers are often operating under assumptions, under hypotheses. You're building the thing that lets them test that hypothesis. If you solve this problem for me, I will be happier. I will be able to work quicker. I will be able to do whatever it is I'm doing better. And you build the thing and you give it to them. Okay? And it solves the problem. Great, but it doesn't speed them up. Well, then you've not solved the actual problem. Because the problem was I need to be able to work faster. And we need to go back to them and talk to them and understand what is working, what isn't working. Is it possible? Let's be honest, it's not always possible to do exactly what a customer wants. Okay? But understand their value better. It will always be their value. But the closer we can get, and if we start measuring it in a way that makes sense to everybody, we can know whether or not all that work being done inside the sprint by the developers is worthwhile. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.